Okay, I'm calling meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask for a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Welcome everybody's here. Everybody's watching or will be watching. Start with roll call. I'm starting with Commissioner Doug Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Mike Stephen.
Here.
Commissioner Jeff Culberson.
Here.
And Commissioner Vicki Cos.
Here.
And I'm here. Okay, go to public comment. I think we have one. Joe, is that you? Come on up, young man. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Thank you. Joe Herring, Herring Surveying, 315 North 5th. Leavenworth, Kansas. I got two cases on the agenda today and just wanted to address them before. One is a rezone out on K-16 highway. It's a 5-acre into a 2.5-acre tract. I believe, and staff can confirm, that it went 9-0 in the Planning Commission meeting, and there was some discussion about the platting process, and if it is approved, there will be no access on the K-16 highway. That will come off one of the county roads, and it does fit. There is a 2.5-acre tract directly west of this property, so there is, a tract that matches that. The other one is out on 219th Street, and this is a little different. This is a platted subdivision, but it's all owned by the current owner. He owns all of it. It's 110 acres of lots. He wishes to rezone to 2.5 acres, rural residential, and just have an estate planning. There is no design yet or anything, and doesn't plan to be. It's just for the, planning for the future. It went 7-2 approved, but the 2 no's, I believe, said it did not fit the character of the neighborhood. And I had a discussion during the Planning Commission meeting about the character of the neighborhood. If it's rural residential, whether it's 2.5, 5, 1, 10, 20, it's rural residential. That classification matches. If you're going business, or if you're going industrial, or want to go to high density 3 units per acre, I see the difference in the classification. So to me, it matches the character of their neighborhood. But they still voted no against it, even though that there are 5 tracts that are adjacent to this property that are less than 2 acres, and there's 1 tract that is 2.5 acres. So there's tracts that are there, and that's 37% of the adjacent tracts are smaller than what he's requesting. 2.5 acre zoning exists directly east of it and is adjacent to it, and 2.5 acre zoning exists on the tract directly south of it. Now, just the south half of that tract is zoned 2.5 acres, and that's where it starts, about 180 feet away from it. So, to me, it fits the neighborhood, and I'll be available for any questions during the time if you guys have any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I was the only spokesperson on that. Administrative business. Mark, did you have anything for the group?
Nothing today.
Okay. Mike, did you have something?
I do have one thing, and I was going to address this with Mark, or I don't know who we need to address it to, but I this morning listened to the transcripts of the calls down in Texas from the kids that were in the shooting. For 78 minutes, the police did not go in. And I'm wondered if we need to inquire with our local law enforcement what are the active shooter protocols, Leavenworth County, for the cities in our county, and what the best way for us to determine what those are. If we could get something in writing from the communities and find out what the active shooter protocols are, because we definitely don't want to have a repeat of that.
Commissioner, that would be something that the local law enforcement would be responsible for, and I'm not sure that they would really be open for discussing the
Mike,
protocols they use to respond to situations and Commissioner Smith, obviously.
I can tell you as past police chief, where you're going with this, correct? but to give information on how the tactics will be used when you go into and I'm disappointed on Texas, I agree with you, Mike, but to give information to potential bad folks on what the protocol is or how you handle a situation like that would definitely not be going in the right direction. To know there is a plan in place, and that there are exercises, which I think they're still doing. I know they do them out in Lansing, is probably the best scenario. I know you just want to, I'm just guessing, Mike, you want to feel comfortable with what they're doing, and I hear what you're saying, because as an old cop, I've had a chance to review that.
And I don't necessarily need to have them publicize what their protocols are. I just want to know and be allowed to let the community know that there are protocols in place, and also for Leavenworth County, what are our protocols, and make sure we have things in place for these situations. Because I'll tell you what, after listening to the transcript this morning, very, very disturbing.
I agree.
A lot of mistakes were made there. The kids were calling from the classroom. And so I don't know what the best way, if we can contact the sheriff or reach out and find out if there are protocols in place.
Well, I'm confident there are protocols. I don't know what they would be, but yes, the proper discussion would be with the local law enforcement entities that are responsible for the schools in their districts, in their areas.
So I do think that's something that I think the citizens want us to be concerned about that.
Okay. Anything else, Mike?
That's all.
All right. Jeff or Doug? Okay. Thank you, Mike. Consent agenda. Is any items on the consent agenda that needs to be pulled? If not, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it. Motion second. Discussion. And then I'll call Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Stephen.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeff Culberson.
Aye.
Commissioner Cos.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you. Formal board action. Consider a motion to approve additional funding for Meals on Wheels per amended price per meal increase in the amount of $115,242. Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioners, we're here to talk about today amended per meal price increase that's been requested by our Meals on Wheels caterer, Terry Booker. It would amend the price from a $5.25 per meal price to $6.50, citing 30 to 50% meal food increases in prices across the board, doubling meat prices. Mr. Booker has been very responsive this year in altering menu items, varying the number of times that more expensive items are on the menu, adding in more casseroles and pastas to make that money stretch a little bit farther, eliminating dessert. So our folks went from every day to 15 days a month with dessert to no dessert at all to try and make that $5.25 meal price stretch. And he's at a point where he feels he's done everything he can outside of asking for this price increase. So this increase would add another $115,000, just over that, to our requested proposed budget for meals for the 2022-23 fiscal year.
And Connie, that would go from what's the exact dates? I know I'm saying.
October 1. Our fiscal grant year runs October 1 to September 30.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So we did some other research to find out, what other options would cost. Switching to a frozen meal option would go to $7.99 a meal for residents, and that would be just over $736,000 a year for meals. A third option would be to increase our price from $2 to $3 per meal. Right now we have about 60% of our population who can afford the $2 suggested donation. And no one goes without a meal, regardless of their ability to pay.
Right.
That's why we fundraise and do other things like that. But that could bring in an approximate $166,000. But what's the unknown is that 60%'s ability to pay that it would increase the price about $20 a month with everything else increasing for them as well. So we haven't had a price increase more than 10 to 15 cents since 2016.
Yeah. Welcome to the new world. I don't, personally speaking, I don't agree with the frozen.
No.
things. I think that,
This was working.
yeah.
This is
Why
working.
should,
This is
why
good
should you change it?
food. People are.
I agree, Doug.
No, I don't want to do anything different than what we're doing.
People like the meals.
Mark, how about the funding?
Commissioners, I've spoken with the clerk. We've looked at the budget. We can make arrangements in this year's budget to absorb this cost, but then anticipate next year we would change the budgeted request from the Council on Aging to reflect this increase and fully support what's being asked here. Just want to make sure that y'all are aware this may be the first time, but probably not the last time if inflation continues at the rate it is that we have a request like this. So.
I totally understand and agree that, but we're not going to take care of these folks.
There really is
that's a priority.
Yeah, there really is no good alternative. This
Yeah.
is the best scenario. I think
agree.
Connie's folks did a good job of evaluating
Yeah,
this.
There's places to cut in budgets, but not.
That's right.
Not the food.
This would be
So,
the last. Vicky, do you have anything to say on this?
So I've got nothing to say.
Just listening today.
Okay. Commissioners, anybody else?
No, I'll make a motion,
Please
Mr. Chairman, that we approve the price increase from $5.25 to $6.50 per meal.
Second.
Can you include that would be a
Ma'am,
budgeted increase of $115,242?
And that'd be increasing over the budget allowed budget $115,242.
Again, second it. Any more discussion? Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Stephen?
Aye.
Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cos?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good seeing you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Okay, next item is consider a motion to approve Resolution 2022-11, a rezone from RR5 to RR 2.5 located at 20078 235th Street. Good morning.
Good morning. I sat in the wrong chair and now I feel awkward. How are you all? Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I have a request here to approve Resolution 2022-11. This is a request to rezone a tract of land from RR5 to RR 2.5. Mr. Herring spoke on this briefly. It's actually the Planning Commission voted 7-2 to recommend approval of this case. We did have 2 dissenting votes. We believe the parcel is 5 acres. The intention is to divide that into 2.5 acre parcels. As Mr. Herring stated, access would not be granted off K-16. It would be granted off of a local county road. Again, the Planning Commission voted 7-2. It does match the comprehensive plan.
And their concerns are the same thing that Mr. Herring addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the county road used to go by this property, correct?
Yeah, so there's actually, it looks a
We
little funny.
vacated that portion of road, and they'll be using that as a driveway.
So there's actually, well, my map here is not great. There's a road on the south side. So if they were to split it, the southern parcel would take access off of that road that runs east-west.
They couldn't use a shared driveway.
Potentially, but I don't know that there would be any need to do that. But if they needed to, then that's an option.
No, I looked at it. It's fine.
Okay. Jeff?
Nope.
Okay. Any other commissioner have any item? Okay, now, if not, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve Resolution 2022-11, a rezone from 5 acres to 2.5 located at 20078 235th Street.
I'll second it. Any other discussion? Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Stephen?
Aye.
Commissioner Culberson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cos?
Aye.
And I'm voting aye, so very good. Okay, next one is consider a motion to approve Resolution 2022-12, a rezone from RR5 to RR.2.5 located at Leavenworth Road and 219th Street.
Commissioner, this is a request to approve another resolution for rezoning from RR5 to RR2.5. This one is a little bit unique in that it is an entire subdivision. It's lots 1 through 9 of Whiskey Ridge subdivision. The plat was approved about a decade or so ago, if I remember correctly. It is never there. None of the lots have ever been sold off. None of the lots have ever been built upon. It's all remained under common ownership, which is what makes this a little bit unique. There is 2.5 acre zoning in the direct vicinity. It does meet the comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission voted 8-1 to recommend approval.
Commissioners?
I went and looked at this one also. There's a water tower just up on top of the hill above this. It's on a hard surface road. There's small tracts of ground around it.
Yep.
Farmhouse sets off the road quite a ways in the middle of this property.
I agree. Any commissioner have any comments?
What was the objection to the
Go
one
ahead, Mike.
the one person that objected? What was the
Character of the neighborhood.
character of the neighborhood? And did they cite anything specific that they were
Character of the neighborhood.
just in general? Okay.
The property recently, in the last few years, had a huge pond built on it. That changed the character of the neighborhood also.
Okay. Take a motion.
And no valid protest petition was filed.
Was there any objection raised by anyone?
I don't believe so, but I don't have the tape right in front of me, so don't
Okay.
hold me to that in the court of law.
I think there was just one person.
Okay. So,
I'll move that we approve resolution 2022-12, a rezone from RR5 to RR2.5 located at Leavenworth Road and 219th Street.
second.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Stephen?
Aye.
Mr. Culberson?
Aye.
Mr. Cos?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you. Okay, next one's consider a motion to accept the proposal from Finney and Turnspede for the design and inspections of bridges ST26, HP36, K19, and E48 in the amount of $525,000.
Commissioners, I'll be handling that today.
Okay.
Mr. Knoll had to be out of the office this week, so you have the proposal in front of you. We've discussed this, and Mr. Knoll did also discuss it with two commissioners as part of a committee. We received only really one proposal that was compliant with what our request for proposals were. The other proposal did not include pricing, but historically, Penny and Turnip Seed has been the lower price on these. They have completed other projects for us. We've been very happy with them. So we are recommending that we accept the proposal from Finney and Turnip Seed for those bridge designs in an amount of $525,000.
Bust that out for 4 bridges. That's not a bad
that's
price.
a lot of bridges. Any other comments? Okay, entertain a motion.
2 of them are Jeff's, 1 of them's in Mike's, 1 of them's in mine.
I'll do it. I could
Go ahead, Mike.
move to accept the proposal from Finney and Turnip Seed for design and inspection of bridges ST-26, HP-36, K19, and E48 in the amount of $525,000.
Second.
Motion is second. Any more discussion? Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Stephen?
Aye.
Mr. Culberson?
Aye.
Mr. Cos?
Aye.
I vote aye. Thank you. Okay, consider a motion to approve the funding supplemental agreement with KDOT for ST-100 off-system bridge grant.
Commissioners, this is just an amendment to a previous agreement we'd already entered into for an off-system grant with KDOT. This just allows a reallocation of funds depending upon the price of the bridge. It limits KDOT's participation to the full amount of the grant.
Yeah. Any comments, questions?
We don't know what the supplemental funding's going to be with the way this inflation's
Right.
going.
everything keeps
Yeah, we may
growing.
not be able to afford to do it.
That's right, keeps growing. But for now,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the additional funding on the supplemental agreement with KDOT for ST-100 and off-system bridge grant.
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? Hang in there, Vicki. Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Stephen,
Aye.
Commissioner Culberson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cos.
Aye.
I vote aye. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to additional public comment because we have two. Ed, you want to start again, sir? Come on up. Good morning.
Good morning. Ed Urban, 13561 246th Street. Good morning, commissioners, staff, and the public. This is going to be a little bit of a repeat of what I had last week, but it's going to be a little bit of new information as well. Again, as I reiterated last week, there are 16 agritourism locations in Leavenworth County. Back on July 20th of 2021, there was a email sent out from the Director of Planning and Zoning, as well as approved here by the County Councilor, that said that this agritourism location, one of my associates, did not need an SUP, and they returned their money. They returned their money because they said they didn't need one because they were an agritourism location. Okay, we're going to move forward here. On August 19th of 2021, at 10:44 a.m., there was an email sent from the Kansas Department of Agriculture to my attorney at the time and Leavenworth County, the county councilor. And this is what it said. It said, it is the position of the Kansas Department of Agriculture that a licensed farm winery or anyone engaging in viticulture or production of grapes and wine in Kansas is conducting an agricultural activity. To the extent that an entity may host or conduct activities intended to showcase or otherwise related to their agricultural activities, such activities are also agricultural activities. As to your specific case, you did not provide enough information about the event itself for me to offer any guidance. In any case, such a determination is not within the regulatory authority of the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Other than reiterating that we agree with the zoning statute do not apply to agricultural activities and generally agree that the interpretation provided by the Johnson County Court, you will need to make your own determination on how best to apply and interpret the county regulations within statutory regulations. At 11:02 a.m. on August 19th, the same day, a mere 17 minutes later, the response from the county councilor to my attorney and to the Kansas Department of Agriculture read, "Thank you for your quick and helpful response to the county's inquiry. The county will attempt to resolve its public safety concerns with the hosting parties of agritourism events outside of the zoning and land use regulation." Those are word for word. This was sent to my attorney and to the state of Kansas. It is public record, and it can be disseminated at any time. For the record here also, I want you to know that I am not currently represented by an attorney. My attorney closed the file after receiving that last email that I just read you. Anybody in this room could have an attorney at any time or have one under retainer. We have no litigation against the county, and there's no litigation against us from the county. As my county commissioners, you have an obligation to listen to what I have to say at any time, as well as I have the right to tell you or give you some information at any time. I'm going to read a real quick Attorney General opinion from 1985 written by the Attorney General at the time. And this is what it says. This is a synopsis. It says, counties may not exempt or enact substitute provisions for state statutes which are uniformly applicable to all counties. In KSA 192921 is part of the enactment which uniformly is applicable to all counties. It is not subject to county home rule authority. Number one, we are agriculture. Number two, we are agritourism, and they combine and they work together. I'm going to yield the rest of my time to my wife.
Thank you. Come on up, Cindy.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I don't really have a lot to say here. I just wanted to mention that I went through all the special use permits out there to see what we were looking at as the number of agritourism ones, and there's 9 of them that had special use permits that I found, and the total traffic impact fees for those were $12,795.01, and the highest one was $8,117, and that was for one of our neighbors. And so you take that out, and the rest of them, and this is from January 2016, which is all that's available out there. So I went through all of that, and I just wanted to, say that in 2022, for all this current year, for all of the SUPs, it's a 0 traffic impact fees have been collected. 2021, the total was for all was $58.93. Neither one of those years was there any agritourism. $58.93. For 2020, it was a little bit different story. There's $15,000.04 and $15,468 was collected for all special use permits for 2020, and $8,117.41 was for agritourism, which was one agritourism. And so, you can go back, and I've got the whole list from 2016. But the main idea is that, traffic impact fees are really insignificant on all of this and very unequally applied. And it looks like in the last couple of years, the method has changed significantly. And I yield the rest of my time to my husband.
Okay, as I said before, my associate agritourism location back in July of 2021 had their money returned to them because they, in the letter, said that they were an agritourism and that they didn't need to have a special use permit, so they got their money returned. Administratively, with that document, as well as the email that was sent back from the county, administratively, policy's already been set for agritourism in this county. You can't have it both ways. You can't administratively say on one side that you're going to give somebody money back for agritourism, and then on the other hand talk about litigation. People in Leavenworth County do not need any more litigation. There's no sense of litigating something that doesn't need to be litigated when you need to follow the state statute that's already out there. I know there's one commissioner, and Mr. Smith, Doug, you have mentioned not only last time, but several other times there needs to be a work session on agritourism. I couldn't agree with you more. That is something that really needs to be done. There needs to be a policy in this county for agritourism. You've got 16 organizations, farms, that are doing agritourism activities in this county right now. This is economic development. You talk about bringing, business parks and everything into this county. That's not a bad thing, but you need to have quality of life to go along with that, okay? If we don't have any agritourism, if we don't have anything for these businesses to do, what are we going to gain, okay? You give them a tax abatement for 10 years, they're gone, okay? We don't get any tax abatements, little guys out there in this county. We need to be able to take and work together as a team, sit down and figure out what the policy is. If you need some expert to come down and sit and talk to you about what agritourism is about, I actually took time off my work for USDA last week and again this week to come down here and work and talk to you, to the commissioner and to the staff. I know about specialty crops because I work for Specialty Crop Market News with the USDA. There are a lot of other smart people around this state, including the Kansas Department of Agriculture at Commerce, that can sit down and help work through a policy that you might want to try to put together. Because I really think that since you have administratively already done this with the communications that have been sent out already, that this is an opportunity to join this all up, and administratively it's been done, and from your standpoint, putting the policy together, working with planning and zoning, whatever we need to do in order to get this taken care of. Now, I've got a lot of other things to do. It's hard out there with the weather and everything. I mean, it's hard to grow things out there, and that's one of the things that is important about agriculture and agritourism is, and I know that when I talked to the Department of Commerce, they said that they have changed their policy up there a little bit. You have to be rural now in order to get an agritourism certificate, and you have to have an agriculture activity.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Smith, I just have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Is it your contention that agritourism entities are exempt from zoning and exempt from impact fees?
Yes, that according to how the law is written, KSA 192921, that is the understanding that I have, and it has been also shared to me. I've talked to the Attorney General's office. I've talked to the Kansas Association of Counties. I've talked to various other attorneys. It is my understanding, based on the information that I have received, that yes,
yes, you are exempt from zoning, and yes, you are exempt from any impact fees.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mike.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? None. Thank you
very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back. Mark, do you have anything for the group? Okay, Doug, I'll start with you.
Just attended Bayshore City Council last Wednesday. Did not attend the township board meeting because we had the Lansing.
Yeah.
I believe we got one at Bayshore tonight.
Michael?
That's it.
I don't have anything today.
All day weekend.
Jeff?
Nope.
Vicki?
I participated in the Transportation Authority last Wednesday afternoon.
Very good. I just have one item. I thought the joint meeting with the City of Lansing was very productive. County Commissioners and the City Council and the Mayor, I think we had a real discussion about issues, and it was a need to work together on some of these things. I'm sure we will, but it was that, and I look forward to meeting with the other cities as we continue down that road. And that's all I have. If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Stephen?
Aye.
Mr. Culberson?
Aye.
Mr. Cos?
Aye.
And I vote aye. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.